everyone, and welcome to the warm down looking at Man United versus Barnsley. Going to go through the game quickly here and give my review on what we saw. So, first point I want to cover is team selection. Now, Erik ten Hag made 8 changes, which is what I really think we needed. I think it was important to refresh the team. We've got so many fixtures coming up. We're playing twice a week, pretty much all the way through to about Christmas. This was a great chance to get that rotation in. And I think as a result, actually, everyone played well, which is positive for the whole squad. Some goals were scored, and that will help people to gain confidence. And ultimately, I would say a successful sort of bit of rotation carried out there. I will say I absolutely loved Christian Eriksen out there. Really enjoyed watching him play. I think he gave us a reminder of what he can be when he's at his best. And even though he's never had the pace, the good thing is that doesn't leave you. And at 32, he is still majestic to watch when he gets going. I would say in terms of the other notable changes, Antony and Casemiro also came in. And although they played well in this individual game, I don't think they really made a case for getting into the first 11. I will say that probably no one did, but those two in particular, the way they played really reminded me of last season. I think Antony was far too selfish. I think he took on way too many shots in the end. And Casemiro, great at breaking up the play, but ultimately still too direct. Some of that does come down to the opposition, but in terms of who's threatening the first 11, I think the only argument you could make is Garnacho did score twice, got an assist, and I thought Harry Maguire was very solid, yet unspectacular. But those two maybe made a good case themselves. Everyone else, good game, but ultimately nothing to write home about. So next I want to discuss our game model. Now, Erik ten Hag was asked in the pre-match press conference what the game model was, and he was quite coy about what the sort of specifics were, but he did say that he did want to continue with the dynamic nature and the dynamism going forward. That was on show, and we definitely saw a lot of that in this game, but also that it was about controlling the game through possession. And you look at the possession stats and say we had 65% possession, so we did that, but I would still argue that we were very direct at times and really pushing forward and really forcing the issue way too often. Now, it worked in this game because the opponents were Barnsley, and I'm going to talk about them in a moment. But if we're talking about the game model long term, that wasn't it. That isn't what we want. We don't want to see so many direct passes always going forward. And this was not really a way to show and improve on the game model as we want. Now, in terms of Barnsley, Barnsley made it really, really easy. I was checking out their results and I saw they lost 3-0 at the weekend, and I was wondering, have they got one eye on this game? If they did, that one eye must have been closed, because they did not turn up at all. They were absolutely dreadful. I mean, the words I want to use I'm not going to, because it feels like you're punching down, but they were absolutely terrible. They were so bad. They were so open. They made no corrections and adjustments throughout the game, and deservedly lost 7-0, and that really is saying something. I think as a result we did kind of play down to their level, and that is just a result of the opposition being so bad. I don't blame Ten Hag for this. I don't necessarily blame the players either, because when you're presented with the opportunities that they were, it's so hard to not just knock a ball in there and take it. But for the big picture, this wasn't really it for the game model. I think we really need to keep that in mind and look for that going into the next game. So, what do we do moving forward? This game was there was nothing notable about it, and really all I'm looking at now is what happens next. And we've got Crystal Palace on Saturday at 5:30, tricky timing and away game to go to, and it will be a very different test. I think we really need our players back. One thing I noticed going back to the team selection is the difference between the players who came in today and the ones who played against Southampton is how comfortable they are on the ball. I would say that what we saw towards the end of the game we could see Mazraoui, we could see Bruno, we could see Xerxes just much more comfortable on the ball than the likes of Anthony, maybe even than the likes of Dalot, certainly Collier, certainly Casemiro, who did stay on, but when the crowd around him changed, I think he adjusted as well. We need that control back in the game to Saturday. We need to be less direct. I think we need Ahmad back. Ahmad, with his ability to hold the ball, advance it carefully, find his teammates, is really, really important. And I think moving forward, we just have to keep that in mind. But look, finally, we need to enjoy it. That was the biggest win we've seen under Ten Hag, and the biggest win I've seen for many, many a year. We saw some goals. Okay, the opposition weren't all that. But look, 7-0 is 7-0. Players are finishing chances, creating things. Everyone's going to feel good and get a boost from that. So look, that can help us score more goals in the Premier League. That can help us moving forward. So that's the ultimate thing to take away from this. This has been the warm down for Barnsley. I'll see you guys for Palace. Enjoy the rest of your evenings.